All right, guys, we'll rock and roll here shortly on the program. The University of Virginia Department of Athletics announced yesterday the largest single gift in the history of the program. The University of Virginia on Tuesday announced that the Virginia Athletics Foundation has received the largest single commitment in its history, benefiting the Department of Athletics $40 million gift from an anonymous student athlete who wanted to make a significant difference in the lives of UVA. $40 million gift. Good night. We will talk about that today on the program. Scott Aaronworth, who do you think it will be? You're watching in Virginia Beach. We're going to try to do some crystal ball projections or predictions of who is giving $40 million, an anonymous student athlete. Not only giving $40 million, but doing it in a way where they want to remain anonymous. Not have a building named after them, a stadium named after them, a field named after them. Scott, I'm curious of your take. Johnny Ornalis, I'm curious of your take. Vanessa Parkhill, Carol Thorpe, I'm curious of your take. $40 million. We'll talk about that on today's program. Rockfish Brewing Company is now open on the downtown mall. Charlottesville Burger Week starts today. What's the best burger in Charlottesville? That topic on today's program. We will talk, give you more updates on Dart and Towel Park. Our Dart and Towel coverage is getting significant momentum in the community. We'll let you know how and why. And new records yet again for home prices nationally in the month of March. Sales prices. Another new record for sales prices, this time in the month of March. We will let you know how, why, where, and what you can expect moving forward. The show is hot, hot, hot. Jerry Miller on the I Love CVille show will rock. We're ready to go, Judah. Guys, welcome to the I Love CVille show. I'm Jerry Miller. Thank you kindly for joining us. We are live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world here on the I Love CVille network. A glorious Wednesday to be above the mud. Thank you kindly for joining us. Skooma Boutique Dispensary, the best dispensary in Charlottesville, on the Charlottesville Downtown Mall next to Rapture Restaurant. Today, Skooma Boutique Dispensary opens a second location on Ellwood Avenue on 420. Congratulations to locally owned Skooma Boutique Dispensary. David and his beautiful wife, Kirsty, making moves with a brand that has had success out of the gates. A kind partner of this program. Jamie Schwartz, we'll get to that comment. The comment was Tiki Barber. She's the owner of a fantastic business herself, Picasso Swig, now in downtown Charlottesville. A $40 million donation the University of Athletic Department has received. I will read this paragraph to you. It's going to be the lead of the show. Yesterday afternoon, the University of Virginia announced that the Virginia Athletic Foundation has received the largest single commitment in the history of the program. The contribution, the donation, benefits the Department of Athletics. It's $40 million. A former student athlete, this athlete, student athlete, is remaining anonymous. $40 million. The bequest is part of UVA's $5 billion Honor the Future capital campaign. The Virginia Athletics Foundation Honor the Future goal is $500 million. And this commitment brings the VAF, Virginia Athletic Foundation campaign, total to $443 million. Good Lord, $40 million from a former student athlete. Today on the show, Kevin Yancey says Ryan Zimmerman or Chris Long. Jamie Schwartz says Tiki Barber. Today on the show, we'll brainstorm. We will, happy 420 to you as well, Aaron King. We will brainstorm who this donation could be from. $40 million, while Chris Long and Ryan Zimmerman and Tiki Barber and Heath Miller and Matt Schaub have made a lot of money as noteworthy student athletes. The $40 million donation is at a point that I don't think those guys would do. Chris Long and Heath Miller and Tiki Barber, Matt Schaub, Ryan Zimmerman, they made a ton of bank in their career. But a $40 million donation is going to be even higher for what they've earned in their time of playing sports. I would bet, and I have no inside knowledge, I would bet that the person who donated this money didn't even make their income playing sports. I would bet the person who donates $40 million to UVA Athletics played sports at the university, but never relied on sports post-college, post-UVA, as a way to make their living. I'm curious, you guys, the viewers, the listeners, Aaron King, Vanessa Parkhill, Carol Thorpe, who do you think this could be? We'll try to make some crystal ball predictions on the show. Scott Aaronworth, if you're watching this program, I believe you are. Google, if you could, for me and post in the comment section the UVA alum, football player from Virginia who owns a trucking company that's the official trucking and transportation company of Virginia Athletics. Scott Aaronworth, when you get that answer, if you could for us, put it in the feed and tell me what you think of that as a potential answer to the $40 million donor. We will also talk on today's show, Rockfish Brewing Company opening on the downtown mall. Charlottesville Burger Week starts today. In our analysis, our take on Darden Towel Park is now gaining massive momentum in the community. Darden Towel Park is the only, and I'll read this verbatim for you, the only non-school park. This was said to me by a group of parents that listen to the show. The fields at Darden Towel are the only non-school fields provided by Albemarle County. This group of parents says, it is critical, Jerry, that these fields be synthetic turf so they can serve the most people in the most cost-effective ways. The presentation to the Board of Supervisors on March 23rd made it clear. Not only should it be turf, but it should also be lit, this group of parents says. That story for you on today's edition of the I Love CVille show. But we start with the press release from yesterday afternoon. This is from the University of Virginia. Here's the first few paragraphs. The University of Virginia on Tuesday announced that the Virginia Athletics Foundation has received the largest single commitment in its history. Benefiting the Department of Athletics, the $40 million bequest came from an anonymous former student athlete who wanted to make a significant difference in the lives of future athletes at UVA. Quote, "This extraordinarily generous gift reflects a deep passion for the university and our athletics program," UVA President Jim Ryan said. We are grateful to have philanthropic leaders among our former student athletes, and we applaud their desire to make the UVA experience even better for future generations. This commitment will do just that and strengthen the student-athlete experience for years to come, end quote. That's Jim Ryan. Here's another important paragraph from the release. This donation is part of the overall UVA $5 billion with a B Honor the Future Capital campaign. The UVA Athletics Foundation, which is a part of the university, the Athletics Foundation has a goal of $500 million. With this $40 million donation, the $500 million goal for the Athletic Foundation is in reach. The current total is $443 million, 57 short of the $500 million goal. The Virginia Athletic Foundation has launched its 2022 annual fund effort with a target of $20 million to support scholarships, academic affairs for UVA's 750 student athletes and the operational budget. With phase 1 of the athletics master plan complete, including the construction of 2 natural grass football practice fields, fundraising for phase 2, the football operations center is almost done. Phase 3 will include the construction of an Olympic sports complex. So, $40 million from an anonymous donor is astronomical. $40 million from a student athlete who wants to stay anonymous is shocking. Normally when donations of that tune come, you get naming rights. Stadiums, football fields, arenas, buildings. In this particular circumstance, the individual wanted to remain anonymous. I initially thought about Charles McDaniel. Charles McDaniel was a football player at UVA. He was raised in Fredericksburg. He enrolled at UVA in 1982. He was a linebacker and all-ACC performer. He ranks in the top 5 all-time in tackles for UVA. He's the president and chief executive officer of Hildrup Companies. He routinely donates to the university. He also contributes trucking infrastructure to help big teams like football with large amounts of equipment get to and from away games. When you see the football program go down to Tobacco Road or hit the road with trucks following them, a branded truck, that vehicle is a truck from Charles McDaniel's company. Now, the Hildrup Companies are established and known. They make a lot of money. But the more I think about this, the more I realize, hey, when Charles McDaniel makes donations and contributions kindly, philanthropically, altruistically to his alma mater, he does it in well-known fashion. His business gets branding and naming rights. He gets honored and recognized. Look, you're given this kind of money. Getting honored for the donation comes with the territory. I got no beef with someone giving millions of dollars to a school and saying, hey, I'd like to get some props or some respect or some kind of recognition for that donation. That comes with the territory. So while I initially thought it was Charles McDaniel, top 5 football player from a tackle standpoint in program history, a guy who was an all-ACC performer, a guy who played football at UVA in the early 80s, mid-80s, a guy who now is a wealthy executive in the trucking and transportation space. I'm like, all these things line up for him except for one. And the one is the anonymous nature of the donation. Let's take the John Paul Jones Arena. John Paul Jones Arena is a multi-purpose arena owned by UVA. Paul Tudor Jones, who earned a BA in economics from UVA in 1976, donated $35 million of his personal funds for the construction of the arena. That $35 million donation from Paul Tudor Jones, a finance guy, one of the most well-known finance guys. In fact, he's an American billionaire hedge fund manager. He's the CEO of Tudor Investment Corporation, routinely on CNBC. When Paul Tudor Jones kicked the UVA $35 million, he was granted naming rights in exchange for the donation. He opted to name the arena in honor of his father, John Paul Jones, a 1948 graduate of the University of Virginia School of Law. When Paul Tudor Jones made the donation of $35 million to UVA, he got props and recognition for it. The arena is named after his dad. Paul Tudor Jones is 67. He works in finance. He's a billionaire. He's got bank, and a $40 million donation would scratch the surface of his wealth. But Paul Tudor Jones, who went to UVA, where he was a welterweight boxing champion. Paul Tudor Jones, a billionaire, student athlete, a welterweight boxing champion at UVA, very much fits the criteria. He earned a bachelor's degree in economics in 1976 from UVA. In the 80s, he was accepted to Harvard Business School. He did not attend, now a hedge fund manager. When he makes donations and contributions, Paul Tudor Jones, like this, he does it in sexy, splashy fashion. That's why I don't think it's Paul Tudor Jones. The $40 million is no big deal. The anonymous nature of the donation is a bigger deal. No sex appeal, no splash, no headline, no recognition. So I'm literally left scratching my head. When this news breaks yesterday afternoon, it's going to be in the front page of the newspaper tomorrow. It'll be on the 11 o'clock newscast after this episode. It'll be Commonwealth-wide, Mid-Atlantic-wide news here very shortly. When I see a $40 million donation, I immediately think what we all do. Is it Chris Long? Is it Ryan Zimmerman? Is it Matt Schaub? Is it Heath Miller? Is it Tiki Barber? 5 guys immediately came to mind. I'm saying no to all 5. Heath Miller did not accumulate that type of wealth in his playing career. Tiki Barber did not accumulate that type of wealth in his playing career. Matt Schaub did not accumulate that type of wealth in his playing career. Ryan Zimmerman and Chris Long have accumulated that type of wealth in their playing careers, but a $40 million donation would erode an incredibly large percentage of Zimmerman and Long's wealth. That's why I'm taking them off the board. Scott Aaronworth sends me a DM, the king of Virginia Beach, an Esquire of tremendous proportions. He says, Joe Harris or Malcolm Brogdon, Jerry. I'm going to also, I think those are great suggestions, Scott Aaronworth. I'm going to also strike Joe Harris and Malcolm Brogdon off that list. I don't think either have accumulated that type of wealth yet for a $40 million donation. Look, you can make $160 million in your career playing sports, but after taxes, after quality of life, and buying some homes and some cars, taking some trips and making some investments, that $160 million that you made after taxes, after buying your cribs and your whips, after getting Ma Dukes a crib, that $160 million is not going to leave margin for a $40 million donation. That's why I think it's a student athlete who played sports at UVA but never relied on sports to make their living. There are few athletes from UVA, you could probably count them on one hand, that can make a $40 million donation when their income is tied to playing a professional sport. Scott Aaronworth, you know sports at UVA as well as anyone. Vanessa Parkhill, you do as well. Kevin Yancey, King of Waynesboro, you as well. Danny O'Day, Politico fame. You know UVA sports as well as anyone. How many athletes can we rattle off that have made the type of wealth of playing professional sports that can do a $40 million donation? Scott Aaronworth thinks, I think it's somebody we are not thinking about, somebody who has made a ton of money in the business field. But if we're thinking about players who has made more money than Joe Harris or Malcolm Brogdon. Thank you, Scott, for that screenshot. I was not following it on YouTube. I appreciate that, Scott Aaronworth. LinkedIn, jump in here. The only athletes, student athletes, that matriculated from UVA into professional sports, Lee Elberson, we'll get to your comment here about Best Burgers in a matter of moments. The only athletes that have gone to UVA and are now playing professional sports or recently retired from professional sports that have earned the income or the salary that could even consider anything like this. Aaronworth is named 2. Malcolm Brogdon or Joe Harris. I'm very curious of Joe Harris basketball career earnings. Very curious of that one. Okay, so Joe Harris, Scott, I think it's a great suggestion, but you Google Joe Harris basketball career earnings and you see his career earnings are $53 million. So someone with career earnings of $53 million so far is not going to do a $40 million donation. Even with his current contract is a 4-year, $75 million contract. Over the lifespan of that $75 billion 4-year current contract, after taxes, do you have $40 million left? What is the tax rate on $75 million? That's a CPA question. The tax rate on $75 million. How much after taxes is left in a bank account after you pay Uncle Sam? Let's go Malcolm Brogdon. Malcolm Brogdon career earnings. I'm pumping it into Google as we speak. Malcolm Brogdon career earnings. According to the website SpotRack, S-P-O-T-R-A-C, that tracks earnings. Malcolm Brogdon in 2019-2020 with the Pacers, $20 million. 2020-2021 with the Pacers, $20.7 million. 21-22, $21.7 million. 2022-2023, $22,600,000. He's in the middle of an $85 million contract, Malcolm Brogdon, with the Pacers. That's not the kind of wealth needed to make a $40 million donation. I think those are great suggestions. Ryan Zimmerman, UVA, Ryan Zimmerman career earnings. Let's look at Zim's career earnings. Same website, spotrac.com, S-P-O-T-R-A-C.com. Career earnings for Ryan Zimmerman of $140,892,000. We'll call it $141 million for Ryan Zimmerman, career baseball earnings. He also endorsements and naming recognition deals where he's making money off the diamond as well. So $141 million for Ryan Zimmerman. Chris Long, career earnings. I'm putting it into Google, same website. Chris Long, career earnings. The SPOTRAC.com website is fantastic. Chris Long, career earnings. $92 million on the gridiron. Certainly millions, tens of millions more off the gridiron. But $92 million on the gridiron for Chris Long. So of all the UVA alumni, and they don't even have to be alumni, I'll change it. It's clearly Jamil Sewell, Jamie Turner, repping the pep, the king of Gordonsville, cracking jokes right there. I love that joke. Jamil Sewell, the southpaw quarterback from the Richmond area in the Al Groh era, Jamil Sewell. Of any athlete that's played sports at UVA that then went on to be a professional sports athlete, Ryan Zimmerman, the top career earner. I'm going to confirm Malcolm again. He's the only one that could challenge. Malcolm is too early in his career to challenge Ryan Zimmerman from a career earnings standpoint. I mean, what is Malcolm like, 27, 28, 29? I mean, Zim had how long in the MLB? From 2005 to 2021. I mean, 16 years. Brogdon hasn't even come close to that. Let's see Malcolm Brogdon career earnings. Brogdon has got to be the only one that can maybe challenge Zimmerman. Maybe Chris Long is in the second slot. Long at $92.3 million career earnings. 11 seasons in the National Football League. Tough making huge, I mean, that is huge bank. But compared to the baseball bank is the biggest bank. The baseball bank is the biggest bank. Let's see if we can get career earnings for Malcolm Brogdon. Can someone find career earnings for Malcolm Brogdon for me? I'm doing this on the fly. Can someone find career earnings for Malcolm Brogdon? I don't think it's the Long brothers who made this donation, Kevin Yancey, because if you remember Kyle Long, a lineman for the Chicago Bears, he did not play at UVA. He started his career at Florida State. Then Kyle Long went to community college after getting in some off the field trouble. And after community college, Kyle Long went to Oregon before he got drafted by the Bears in the first round with the 20th pick in the 2013 NFL draft. Kyle doesn't have a true commitment to the University of Virginia. Do we have career earnings, Scott? What is the career earnings for Malcolm? Because remember, Scott, I know you're sending me the 4 years with the Pacers, and the 4 years with the Pacers suggest career earnings of over $80 million. But he started his career, Malcolm Brogdon, with the Bucks, with the Milwaukee Bucks. I would love to get Malcolm Brogdon's career earnings with the Pacers and the Bucks. We call it $85 million with the Pacers. What did Malcolm earn with the Bucks? That's what I want to know. He spent 3 years on a rookie contract with Milwaukee. Do we have anything? I'm doing quick Wikipedia on the fly here, literally doing this on the fly. What did he earn, viewers and listeners, with the Bucks? We're going to call it $80 million, a 4-year, $85 million contract with the Pacers. So $85 million will pay him for the years he hasn't played yet. He's under contract through next season, 2022-2023. So I'm going to give him credit for next year's pay of $22,600,000, Malcolm Brogdon. We're going to give him full credit for the 4-year, $85 million contract. You can see he is already going to be paid higher than Chris Long. Chris Long, career earnings in 11 seasons of $92,360,000. Malcolm Brogdon is getting a 4-year, $85 million contract with the Indiana Pacers. Aaron Worth is making the program better. Scott Aaronworth is making the program better. So we got, I love you, Scott. This is what he did on the rookie contract with the Bucks. He played 3 seasons with Milwaukee. 2017, on the rookie contract, $925,000 in the first year. Second year of the rookie contract, $1.3 million. Third year of the rookie contract with the Bucks, Brogdon, $1.5 million. Quick math, that's 2.8. I'm going to round up and call it $4 million. I'm going to call it $4 million. So if he did 85 with the Pacers, Aaronworth, you're making the program better. Scott Aaronworth, Esquire Extraordinaire, Virginia Beach, helping me out on the fly right now. I love you, homie. $85 million with the Pacers. And then the Bucks, I'm rounding it to 2.8, 3.8, 4. I'm rounding it to 4. So Brogdon, $89 million. Chris Long, $92 million career earnings. Career earnings of $92 million for Chris Long, plus a hell of a lot off the field. Hell of a lot off the field for Chris Long. Brogdon, we'll call it $89 million, plus a lot off the court. That's not the kind of wealth for a $40 million donation. That is not the kind of wealth for a $40 million donation. Zimmerman, with career earnings of $140 million, and then naming recognition and endorsement deals off the field, Zimmerman, with all that other stuff off the field, is probably flirting with $200 million. Even at $200 million of baseball earnings and endorsement earnings, $200 million is not the kind of wealth for $40 million donation. That is not the kind of... Chris Long did, Curtis Shaver, when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles, give up a whole season's salary to charity and lived off endorsements. He absolutely did that. And in the years when he was with the Eagles, he was earning a little over $2 million a year, and a little in 2017, and $3 million in 2018. He absolutely, the chef at Peloton Station is right about that. He gave up a year's of pay when he was with the Eagles and donated it to the money. All right, so now we have a good baseline. So here's the baseline, what we know. The athlete, and unfortunately, I'm going to cut to the chase. This is a straight up statement. It's not sexist by any means, but it's fact. It's a factual statement. Female athletics are not paying the kind of income to their professional athletes for a $40 million donation. The pay for female sports athletes and male sports athletes, the delta is ginormous. And because of that delta, and everything I'm saying is fact, I am literally going that this is not a female professional athlete. Now, it could be a female who played sports at UVA, then went into the professional or private sector and made a boatload of money. I'm not discounting or ruling that out. It very well could be a woman who played sports at UVA and then went into the private sector, entrepreneur, CEO, finance, and made a boatload of money. That very well could be the case. But the first part of this conversation is, are there any professional athletes that played pro sports for a living, that can afford this kind of donation? And we've narrowed it down to one, maybe. That's a decent suggestion, Scott Aaronworth and Katie Couric. Scott Aaronworth, can you tell me, Katie Couric, did Katie Couric play sports at UVA? Because if she never played sports at UVA, she's off that list. Katie Couric, can you find Katie Couric, Judah, career earnings? the TV broadcaster, and have a two-shot ready to go when you have that answer. Katie Couric, career earnings. Scott, I think that's a hell of an answer. And she's made some serious bank because she's got the type of career where you're not time-stamped to a window of time like 10 years, 15 years. A professional athlete has till they're 22 to maybe they're 37 to play their sport, and then their body cannot perform at the level of a professional anymore. Katie Couric is a TV broadcaster. She can legitimately and has legitimately been a television broadcaster for 40 years. She's 65 right now. You have Katie Couric's career earnings? On a two-shot for us, J-Dubs. Make sure that mic is turned on.
It is.
Okay. What's Katie Couric's career earnings?
I don't think you're going to like this. It's now $100 million.
Okay, so she's out.
Yeah.
Someone with a net worth of $100 million is not doing a $40 million donation.
Especially not to UVA.
Yeah, and I don't think she played sports at UVA. Did Katie Couric play sports at UVA? She was a she was a Tri-Delt sorority house at UVA, 1975. She served in several positions according to Wikipedia at UVA's award-winning daily newspaper, the Cavalier Daily. Her fourth year, she was an RA, she lived on the lawn. She was not an RA. She lived on the lawn. She graduated in 79 with a bachelor's degree in American Studies. She did not play sports at UVA. All right, so from an athlete who played sports at UVA and then played sports professionally, only Ryan Zimmerman is capable from a wealth standpoint of making a donation like this. And even at $200 million, can you go back to the two-shot, J-Dubs? We're common sense people. Someone who's earned, this is not net worth. Earned and net worth is different. Yeah. Ryan Zimmerman has grossed, and that may be even generous. He's grossed $140 million on the diamond, $140,892,000. We'll call that $141 million. I'm generously going to say he's made another $59 million in donations, and I think that's high, but I want to be conservative here. For the sake of a talk show, I'm going to say he's grossed. This is not net worth. This is gross. $200 million gross. Probably common sense says he's not going to make a $40 million donation.
What do you mean he's made in donations? Donations to him?
Okay, maybe I misspoke here. He earned in gross pay $141 million playing baseball for the Nationals.
Right, got that.
And then he got, we'll call it, and I doubt it's this high, but for the sake of a talk show, another $59 million for an even $200 million in gross income. He's got to pay taxes on $200 million.
What's the 59 from?
Endorsements.
Okay, gotcha.
TV commercials, sponsorship deals, name recognition, licensing. So $200 million in gross. We got any CPAs? Vanessa Parco, you got this answer for me? VP, the Queen of Earlysville. If Zimmerman has grossed $200 million, if Zimmerman grossed $200 million, what's his net? What's his take after taxes? $200 million in pay. What is the take after taxes? How much goes to Uncle Sam on $200 million? I think we would be astonished. Park Hill, Vanessa, Queen of Earlysville would know that answer. Paul McCarter, you know that answer? Quick Google search, anyone? That's tough to do on the fly here. Can you see if you could find that on a quick Google search?
What are you looking for? I've got his net worth right now is $60 million, so I doubt he's given $40 million to the school.
You got net worth of Zimmerman?
Yeah, $60 million. That's what they say.
I mean, good God, how much does taxes take away from you? Jeez Louise. I mean, still $60 million. We can live on $60 million. I'm not marginalizing anything like that, okay? But the dude's earned darn near close to $200 million, and his net worth is $60.
Yeah.
That puts things in perspective right there.
Well, he's either given a lot of it away or he's spent a lot of it.
A lot of times they make these donations to help offset tax exposure.
Yeah, no doubt.
My CPA at tax time all the time says, Jerry, donations, how much have you made?
I mean, if you're a normal person and you're making all this money, maybe it's, maybe you're not looking to buy $1 million mansions and you just want to keep being a normal person. So, what does anyone need with $100 million? Yes, I know that some people can use it, but...
Paul McCarter, I agree with his comment. I agree with what Paul McCarter just said. Someone has to be in the 500 million range or higher to give that kind of donation. I 1,000% agree with Paul McCarter. 500 million range or higher, avenues, Paul McCarter just said that. I 1,000% agree with Paul. Paul's a common sense guy. We have that very much in common. The 500 million range or higher, who is a student athlete at UVA, is this Paul Tudor Jones? The only reason I don't think it's Paul Tudor Jones is because when Paul Tudor Jones made the John Paul Jones Arena donation, and I'm going to Google John Paul Jones Arena, I'm going to go to Wikipedia John Paul Jones Arena, and I'm going to read the history portion of the John Paul Jones Arena from Wikipedia. Paul Tudor Jones, who earned a BA in economics from UVA, who was a student athlete at UVA. He was a boxer, a boxing champion at UVA. He donated $35 million of his personal money. This dude's a freaking billionaire. When you're a billionaire and you're donating $35 million, that is nothing. $35 million for a billionaire is nothing. It is nothing. But when he donated that $35 million of his personal money for the construction of the John Paul Jones Arena, he asked for naming rights for the arena. He wanted his dad's name on the arena, John Paul Jones Arena. His dad went to law school at UVA. 1948 graduate of the University School of Law. Charles McDaniel, I don't even think, and Charles McDaniel has bank. He's A-plus kind of people. He's a huge asset to the University of Virginia. I'm by no means marginalizing Charles McDaniel. And a football player for George Welsh, and the top 5 in tackles. Ooh. MJ Arquette. MJ Arquette, Castle Hill Cider. MJ Arquette, did you get our strategy from Nick for Castle Hill? We passed it along to Nick yesterday via email. It would crush it for Castle Hill. MJ Arquette suggests Alexis, I always butcher his last name, Ohanian, the founder of Reddit. He's married to Serena Williams. Oh, you got it? Good stuff, MJ. It would crush it for you guys. He's married to Serena Williams. Alexis. I'm gonna Google this, MJ. I don't think Alexis Ohanian, the founder of Reddit, played sports at UVA, though. Remember, the stipulation and the caveat is this $40 million donation was done by an anonymous former student athlete at UVA. Let's see, I'm going to Wikipedia here. After graduating from the University of Virginia in 2005, Alexis Ohanian, with a degree in commerce and history, he and his friend Steve Huffman pitched the idea of My Mobile Menu to Y Combinator. The company passed on the idea but encouraged the duo to come up with something else. I don't think he played sports. That's why I think this is a hell of a guess. And this dude has this kind of bank, especially being booed up and married and partnered with the beautiful, the talented, the fabulous Serena Williams, an icon in herself, in her own right. But I don't think he played sports. He ain't a student athlete. That's why I think we strike him off the list. But MJ, props and kudos to you on that one. Good suggestion. Grisham's son. He works in the building next to ours. James Watson, the king of orbit, says Ty Grisham. Ty Grisham was a St. Anne's Belfield Academy graduate and a catcher on the UVA baseball team. He works in the building right next to the Macklin building with a law firm that he's part owner of. He and his partner, their names are on the marquee. They're literally in the building next to the Macklin. I see Ty Grisham walking his dog all the time, and in front of the Macklin building often. John Grisham's son, Ty Grisham. I don't think it's Ty Grisham. I don't think it's him either. God, did we just figure it out? Paul, did we just sleuth this out? Paul McCarter, James Watson, king of orbit? Did we just sleuth this out? Vanessa Parkhill? Did we sleuth this out? Is it Paul Tudor Jones? He's 67. He's the CEO of a hedge fund. Tudor Investment Corporation. He is straight up a billionaire. Can you Google Paul Tudor Jones net worth? Paul Tudor Jones net worth. I mean, Wikipedia says as of April 2022, his net worth was estimated at $7.3 billion. Is that what you're seeing?
That's what I'm seeing.
And what's your source? Mine's Forbes.
Top of Google search. Let's see.
Someone with
Forbes.
Go ahead.
Forbes.
Someone with a net worth in April of 2022 of $7.3 billion with a B can afford a $40 million donation. I'd say that's no problem for that dude.
Yeah.
You agree with me on that?
Oh yeah, that's what?
That's a piece of cake.
Tiny percentage of the total of that.
Yeah.
You know.
My calculator can't figure out that. And your calculator go up to 7.3 billion? You're going to try to figure that out on the fly?
Just subtract a few zeros from both sides of it.
Mine only goes up, my iPhone calculator only goes up to $730 million. It will not do 7.3 billion.
Yeah, do 730 million divided by 4.
You're going to figure out that on the fly?
Let's see.
Kevin Yancey giving you some props right now, Judah, King of Waynesboro. Did we just figure it out? I think it's Paul Tudor Jones. The only logical reason why it would not be Paul Tudor Jones is because the dude asked for the John Paul Jones Arena to be named after his father.
So you're saying he's too...
I'm not saying he's too anything. I'm just saying he likes the splash and recognition of donation. If he asked the arena to be named after his dad.
That may have been a one-time thing. Like, hey, I gotta, shout out to my dad with this. And the next one is like, oh, well, I did my thing. And
maybe. I think it might be Paul Tudor Jones.
If he wanted it named after himself, that's a different story. But naming something after like your father, that seems more of like a legacy thing than I want to get my name on the top of this.
That's fair. That's a great response. That's a great take. You're basically saying if the dude said name the John Paul Jones Arena the Paul Tudor Jones Arena, then I would have more leverage or ammunition for this argument that if he's making a $40 million donation, he's going to ask for recognition for it. But the fact that he named it after his dad and not himself means that he doesn't really care about the splash or the sex appeal.
Maybe a little more altruistic.
I think we're looking at Paul Tudor Jones, guys. I think we're thinking Paul Tudor Jones. Anybody else with a suggestion? Charles McDaniel, I don't think he's got he's multi-millionaire, he's got serious bank, but I don't think he's got the bank for 40 mil. I think we're looking at Paul Tudor Jones. Google him. I'm getting the Ralph Sampson's comment coming in. Ralph Sampson, nope, not Ralph Sampson. In fact, love Ralph Sampson, greatest basketball player in UVA basketball history. Love Ralph Sampson. Ralph Sampson has had some ups and downs when it comes to finances and child support. In 2005, Ralph Sampson pleaded guilty. Is it pleaded? Ralph Sampson pleaded guilty in 2005 to owing more than $300,000 in back child support for 2 children from different mothers in Northern Virginia. In 2006, he was sentenced to 2 months in prison for mail fraud associated with the purchase of an SUV. Not Ralph Sampson. Doesn't have that kind of net worth. One of the reasons we're seeing Ralph, and he's become quite an entrepreneur of late, but you're seeing Ralph Sampson doing a lot of stuff from like basketball camps in the area. And when you're born in 1960, he's 61 years old, and you're traveling and hosting basketball camps and using your name rights, investing in the White Spot or kicked equity points in the White Spot because of your legacy and what you've done on the court. It shows that you're not sitting on stacks of paper or Scrooge McDucking with gold coins spouting and shooting out of your mouth like DuckTales. I think it's Paul Tudor Jones. Let's go to Paul McCarter says he thinks it's Paul Tudor Jones. Vanessa Parkhill says this, Queen of Earlysville. JPJ name has been protested in the past, right? Maybe Paul Tudor Jones is over the potential hassle that comes along with the naming rights. I love the White Spot as well, Scott Aaronworth. Love the Gus Burger in the White Spot. Love the Gus Bus. That's the new White Spot mobile food truck, the Gus Bus. All right, that's the first topic of the show. It was a damn good one. We got a couple of other topics that we need to get to on the Wednesday edition of the show. You see what we do with the show. We try to make it dynamic. We had James Watson, the King of Orbit. Paul McCarter, you need a moniker on this show. Paul McCarter, you have a moniker. We're going to call Paul McCarter the King of Avon. You've told me the neighborhood you live in. I don't want to call out the neighborhood you live in. I know it's in the Avon corridor. You routinely have really good things to say. Instead of me calling out the neighborhood you live in, I'll call out the corridor and call you the King of Avon, Paul McCarter. Is that okay with you as your moniker? Paul McCarter, King of Avon? So we had the King of Orbit, James Watson. We had the newly minted King of Avon, Paul McCarter. I think he would like that moniker. We had the King of Virginia Beach, Scott Aaronworth, the King of Waynesboro, Kevin Yancey, the Queen of Earlysville, Vanessa Parkhill, and quite a few other people. We had Curtis Shaver, the King of Peloton. We had Jamie Turner, the Mayor of Gordonsville, now repping the Pep in Culpeper. We had Jamie Schwartz, the businesswoman behind Picasso Swig. We had Erin King, the Queen of Scottsville, one of Western Albemarle's finest graduates, all offer perspective on this. And through that crowdsourced perspective, we've narrowed it down to Paul Tudor Jones, a UVA alum, 1976, bachelor's degree in economics. He was a welterweight boxing champion at UVA. He has a net worth of $7.3 billion as of April of this year, according to Forbes magazine. That could be your guy right there. I love this show. I freaking love this show and how we work together to figure this out. Next topic I want to cover on today's program, Judah will get you in on the mix on the Burger Week. So Burger Week starts today. I'm curious of what the best burger in town is. I have a clear-cut 2 best burgers. Curious of your take. Before I do, Rockfish Brewery is now open. Rockfish Brewery has a location on Preston Avenue by Fifth Seasons, basically in Fifth Season. And now it has a location, Rockfish Brewery, and the old downtown grill space, space purchased by Wilson Ritchie. Wilson Ritchie now owns 2 buildings on the downtown mall, Cafe Frank building and the downtown grill building. Wilson Ritchie purchased the downtown grill building, chopped it in half. He put one of his restaurants, the Bebedero, in there, his partner River Hawkins and Wilson Ritchie. The Bebedero is now paying rent to Wilson Ritchie's other company, his real estate holdings company. And then he took the other half of the downtown grill building and rented it to Peter McMines. He's come on this show, Peter McMines, the owner of Rockfish Brewing, who now has a second location, a brewery on the downtown mall, the first true brewery on the downtown mall. Did Champion brew beer ever at Brasier Saison?
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't think they ever did brew beer there, did they? Can someone confirm with Hunter, did they ever brew beer at Brasier Saison? I don't think beer was ever brewed there. I think this is the... Go ahead.
I wouldn't think so.
I don't think it was.
You need a lot of equipment and...
They started bringing the equipment in there. As in a pilot brewery setup. I don't think beer was ever brewed there. Can Rockfish market and brand itself? We need to get Peter on the show. I'll Facebook message Peter McMines. Can Rockfish Brewing Company now market and brand itself as the first brewing company on the Charlottesville downtown mall? South Street's not in the downtown mall. I wouldn't call South Street in the downtown mall, would you?
No.
That doesn't count.
That's not even slightly off downtown.
You could call it downtown.
I mean, yeah, it's not on the. It's not the mall. Definitely not.
It's not the mall.
No.
If he's the first in Rockfish, dude, isn't that a branding mechanism?
Yeah. I'd put that on.
Everything.
Put that on ads and brand it.
Right? First brewery on the downtown mall?
Mm-hmm.
Have you had his beer yet?
I think just the beers that he brought with him. They were pretty damn good.
They were damn good.
Yeah. I had a deep DIPA.
A
it
DIPA.
was badass.
Yeah.
I'm not a, you know me, I'm not an IPA fan, but that was pretty delicious.
Do this. Over the next month or so, go do one of the 2 Rockfishes.
Is it like literally open?
It's open.
All right. Well, I may
Bring Liza.
I may be there this evening.
Okay, go there and have one of his beers. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
He is a tremendously talented brewer. Peter. We're going to get him on the show. My wife has said so many times to me that's some of her favorite beer, Rockfish. The first brewery in downtown mall history that is actually brewing beer on the downtown mall. It's likely Rockfish Brewing Company.
You're killing me here.
What, he doesn't have the beers you like?
No. Brewery hours downtown closed Monday through Wednesday.
So you go tomorrow.
Don't think I can tomorrow.
You got stuff going on?
Might have to be over the weekend.
Okay, bring Liza. You sit outside. He's letting folks bring food from anywhere. In fact, he's straight up encouraging to bring food from the Bebedero over to Rockfish.
Mm-hmm.
So you get some tacos, and then drink some burrs, some brew doggers, some Seversas, some cold ones, some coldies, some tall boys, some pounders, some pints, tasting cup, some suds.
They've got a decent looking menu.
Do you have any other beer nicknames? Nicknames for beer. Brewskis.
Brewskis is I don't do nicknames the way you do, but yeah, Brewskis.
Brewskis. I like brewskis.
What do you get? Like what's the
Some suds.
Trailer Park Champagne?
Trailer Park Champagne. Never heard of that one before. Cold beers. We should ask Peter this. Is he the first brewery? Is he the first beer brand to brew beer on the downtown mall in the history of the downtown mall? He very well could be, because I'm not sure Hunter ever did at Brasier Saison. We should find that out. Burger Week starts today. What's your favorite burger in Charlottesville? Scott Aaronworth, what's your favorite burger in Charlottesville? I got 2. What's yours, Judah Whitcower?
I would have to say that my favorite burger in Charlottesville is the Riverside Lunch Burger.
Yeah.
Double burger. That's as close as I've gotten to
It's a damn good burger.
Tommy Burgers in Los Angeles.
Tommy Burgers?
If they had a double chili cheeseburger at Riverside, there'd be no stopping them.
The Riverside Burger, a double bacon cheeseburger with fried onions.
I don't like the fried onions. I like them raw.
You like them raw? I go fried onions. The double bacon cheeseburger with some fried onions, lettuce, tomato, and mustard for me is the best burger in town. A different burger than that, more of a craft burger that's also very much tied with that one, is the Steakhouse Burger from Citizen Burger Bar. 100% grass-fed beef, Tillamook cheddar, heritage bacon, BBQ sauce, onion straws, compound butter, and a brioche bun. Now the steakhouse burger checks in at 16 B's, 16 bones, $16, 16 greenbacks, 16 bucks.
That's the great thing about the Burger Week is all the
The Citizen's not on
you
there.
get their special selection.
It's a stripped down burger.
Whoever is joining it.
You got Ralph Sampson's American Tap Room, Guajiros. Guajiros has burgers?
They do for this apparently.
Peloton Station, Curtis Shaver watching the program, love Peloton Station.
Fries, the Nook, South and Central, Whiskey
Kroby's.
Jar. Whiskey Jar. I took a look. If you go to, do you want me to put up the website
For what?
on our little bar down below?
Yeah, you can put it on. SeavilleBurgerWeek.com.
Head there. You can click on each of the companies that are participating, and you will find a description and
Oh, I can't wait to read
picture
Curtis's description.
of the burgers. I gotta say, my top three based on just the images are probably the Whiskey Jar. They've got a junk burger, 2 smash patties on toasted brioche with Duke's ketchup, pickles, diced red onions, and American cheese. And this looks good.
Road sodas. That's a good one, Curtis. Road sodas.
Eat It Fries has a bacon pimento burger that looks pretty damn delicious, and the Piedmont. It's a chili cheeseburger. I don't know how I feel about it because one of the reasons why Tommy's was so great is they serve their burgers in butcher paper. So you'd get a double chili cheeseburger and you didn't have to worry about getting on your hands.
Oh.
And when you're all done, you just unfold it and you had like chili and cheese like left over in the bottom of it.
Sounds delicious.
Yeah, I could go through 2 double chili cheeseburgers in like 10 minutes there.
Good Lord, were you on the pooper for days?
No. These were
You weren't on the pooper for
these
days?
were top notch.
You were on the
like
pooper for days.
perfect burgers.
Who makes a burger like that locally?
Nobody.
Nobody. You should suggest. I guess you just did.
Nobody.
You just suggested it.
And while I agree with you, I love Citizen Burger Bar. They've got these gigantic burgers that I can't eat, and they don't give you any. Like if it was wrapped in butcher paper, then you could just you fold the paper back and squeeze it down, and you don't have to worry about spilling half the burger out the back.
Yeah, but he's also utilizing the brawn, Annie McClure. So a lot of people don't know this. We created the logo and brand identity for Citizen Burger Bar, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you eat that burger, he's branded the bun with the Citizen logo on it. So if you use the butcher paper, it will cover the branded bun. It will create.
You could work it out.
You could just brand the butcher paper.
That too.
Yeah. The Peloton Smash Burger is $8. Double
Yeah.
smashes, all beef patties, smoked Gouda, bacon jam, grilled onions, and a fried egg. Curtis Shaver, oh my, oh my, oh my. That's a hell of a burger right there. And he suggested road sodas. As a moniker for beer.
That is a pretty amazing looking burger, though I gotta say it's taller than it is wide. That kind of scares me.
That means it's got a lot of ingredients on it.
That means I can't fit it in my
Don't
mouth.
hate on my man's burger.
I'm not hating on it. It looks gorgeous.
$8 burgers, Burger Week. You got the URL on screen for the fine folks watching and listening. I guess
Yep.
if you're watching, if you're listening, it's
c-villeburgerweek.com.
never liked the dash in the URL.
Yeah, it's
Muddles things up. Not a good branding strategy. The dash in the URL. Not throwing shade. Just speaking as a branding guy. All right, 2 other items out of the notebook. Scott Aaronworth says the burger at C&O is incredible. That's a damn good burger. The burger in the basement bar at C&O is very good. He says the burger at Oak Heart is excellent, and Prime 109, before they closed, that burger was on point as well. Kevin Yancey likes Jack Brown's. He says burgers aren't about the fixings. I like the Greg Brady at Jack Brown's.
Jack Brown's makes some great burgers.
They make good burgers.
I can't even remember the ones that I've actually tried, but the ones I've tried have all been good.
Jack Brown's is good. So 2 other items. We'll get to your comments. Good show today, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, fine viewers and listeners of the gospel here. Thank you. The Board of Supervisors, as we explained to you, is deliberating turf fields at Albemarle County's Darden Towel Park. Is it Toe or Towel?
I've always heard Towel, but I'm...
Darden Toe or Towel Park. I've always heard it Towel as well.
Yeah.
Now, here's the nitty-gritty, and here's a very important little factoid for you. A large group of parents that watch this program, specifically the parents within the SOCA organization, the soccer organization of Charlottesville and Albemarle County. SOCA's organization, SOCA, routinely listens and watches this program. We received a bevy, a plethora, a cornucopia of emails yesterday and today from parents who watch or listen to this show, thanking us, you included, for the support of championing lights and turf at Darden Towel Park. I've said so many times on this program that if elected to the Albemarle County Board of Supervisors, sports tourism and the incremental revenue and the pop it does for the local economy will be a priority for us. I also am speaking firsthand. My wife and I are parents to a 4-year-old. He's had practice at Darden Towel Park, and by practice I mean it's kids like sardines running to a soccer ball and not playing position. But there are some days where the fields are in such bad shape that they literally are playing on a pitch or a field of mud and not grass. If there's any kind of inclement weather the night before, puddles of mud and water on the field because there's no grass on the pitch. Yesterday, last night, yesterday afternoon, today, this morning, we get bombarded with emails of positivity from parents from SOCA, Soccer Organization Charlottesville Albemarle, thanking us for the support. Many explained to us that the fields at Darden Towel are the only non-school fields provided by Albemarle County. They explained to us that it's paramount and critical that these fields be synthetic turf and also have lights for kids in the community to play. I emphasize the synthetic turf because it's less maintenance, less wear and tear, and if you're going to turf the fields and allow through the playing surface for more sports to be played on them, you might as well put lights around them so they can play after the sun sets. The friction is from specifically the Cascadia neighborhood, and that neighborhood has concerns with traffic, noise, light pollution, and quality of life impact that turf fields and lights will bring to the area if approved by the Board of Supervisors. I can shoot down the light pollution argument because the lighting of today is advanced and no longer the peripheral light of football fields of generations past, and it's much more directional lighting that does not create peripheral lighting or light pollution. It shoots lights downward.
Not to mention, you'd think it would be easy enough to start planting trees to create a hedge against that.
Natural barriers to prevent the noise and the lights.
Yeah, start planting them now so that, by the time they get all this done, you've got a good, something to block the light. A legitimate argument that Cascadia has, and we're talking well-off folks. I mean, $500,000 and up homes here in Cascadia. Some of them $1 million plus in Cascadia. A legitimate argument Cascadia has is if you turf and you light the fields and you create more play, you certainly will have more traffic in and out of the park. There will be more traffic. The logical response to that is, hey. Suck it up.
Well, no. You've got to be politically correct. Got to be, well, savvy. The logical response is, hey, you bought a house across from a park.
What did you think was going to happen?
What did you think was going to happen? You bought a house across from a park.
Yeah.
In the urban ring, in the designated growth area. This is what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
You can't then get ticked off that it's happening. And then you can make a legitimate argument that a well-amenitied, well-funded park that's in tip-top shape will drive home values to Cascadia. It's the same argument that goes with schools. In schools, in neighborhoods that have good schools, Meriwether Lewis Elementary School, Murray Elementary School, the Ivy zip code, those values of their cribs, their houses, are off the charts, in large part because of the quality of the schools. Mm-hmm. Take it a step further. New York City, get a rope. You know what that's from? What ad campaign?
Is it Pace?
Pace Picante hot sauce. Well done, Judah. I'm very impressed that you got that right. Pace Picante. New York City.
New York City!
Get a rope.
I don't remember that part. But,
that's the end. Get a rope. In New York City, the homes across from Central Park, the condos, the apartments, the cribs across from Central Park are top dollar because people want views of the park and not the concrete jungle.
Yeah.
Cascadia would have views of a beautiful park, and their kids could walk across the street and play sports.
Yeah.
So I'm very much in favor of this. This is going to be a topic that you'll see in the news quite substantially as the Board of Supervisors deliberates this decision. Ann Malik is vehemently opposed to this.
Does she live in Cascadia?
No, she's Whitehall. She's Steve Harvey's.
Yeah.
She's Whitehall.
So why is she opposed?
I mean, she's OG.
OG. I mean, that doesn't mean anything, though.
She's OG.
It just means she doesn't like change?
Malik's OG.
I don't know what you mean by OG in this context.
She's OG.
Okay.
Wait, what do you mean? She's an original gangster.
I know what OG means.
And Malik's OG.
What does that have to do with this?
OG.
Does that mean that
she's a bit old school in her thinking?
Yeah, so like I said, she doesn't like change.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
All right. Fair enough. I'm not arguing with you.
Ned Galloway straight up indicated to me on Real Talk with Keith Smith on Friday, it really seemed like to me that Galloway was in favor of this. Didn't you get that impression on Friday's show?
Yeah, I got that impression. I can definitely see Ned Galloway, being for something like this. I mean, it's...
Galloway seems like a dude I'd like to saddle up to a bar with and have some brewskis and some road sodas.
Yeah, no doubt.
Good dude, that Galloway. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be on the Board of Supervisors docket, and we appreciate the SACA organization for watching the program. And lastly, on today's show, before we close and get out of here, one other tidbit. The month of March that just transpired set a new record for home prices. The median, this is nationally, the median price of an existing home sold in March was $375,300, an increase of 15% from March 2021.
Wow.
That's the highest median ever recorded by the National Association of Realtors. Good Lord. March, most expensive home prices in the history of our country. National Association of Realtors, the price point, the median, $375,300. That ain't cheap.
No. A lot of people are worried about it around here.
Judah Wickower, you did well today. Job well done. My name is Jerry Miller. This is the I Love CVille show on a Wednesday. Thank you kindly for joining us. Take care.